clean and bright. You look happy to meet me. Blossom of snow, may you bloom and grow. And grow forever. Edelweiss, Edelweiss, bless my homeland forever. Yeah, it's that one. I think I remember that one. Is that how the song goes? Kind of? Let's see. I can sing it. Maybe with a capo. Moving it a little bit. Hello, and welcome to the Mystery Font. Mystery Font 42, Ope Intuit. Good gray array. Liaised, the mind may be game to play today if you are game to play. Edelweiss, Edelweiss, every morning you greet me, small and white, clean and bright. You look happy to meet me. Blossom of snow, may you bloom and grow, bloom and grow forever. Edelweiss, Edelweiss, bless my homeland Edelweiss, Edelweiss, every morning you greet me, small and white, clean and bright. You look happy to meet me. Blossom of snow, may you bloom and grow, bloom What's that from? The Sound of Music. It's The Sound of Music. From The Sound of Music. Yes, it's the story of the Von Trapp family. I remember it. A loaf of bread, a bottle of milk, and a stick of butter. I remembered. The Sound of Music. The Sound of Music. And I remember things about the story, right? I remember things about the story. And they play the song a couple of times. The first time, the father, Georg von Trapp, is singing to his family, and then one or more of his children also join in. I think in this case it's daughters who join in as opposed to, it's one or two daughters, I think. And it's quite lovely. And then they play it later, where really the whole family joins them. And at that point, well, I was going to say something about the family, but why spoil it? But I may spoil something else. Or may ask that you spoil yourself with the story of the family Von Trapp. The Von Trapp family singers. But how did we get here? He was being groomed to join a local, a new kind of, a different military that was coming into town. He was being groomed to join that. Didn't really know if he trusted it. And so alarm bells went off. But he calmly, I think, readied some way that they might leave, if need be, or other possible options. But the siren was sirening, and even if it went off, not only might it come back, but what did that mean? We can't be subsumed by fear. Fear is the mind killer. And yet, stimuli are there, and so they go on, and it seems they will maybe need to leave. And they mention at some point that they sing, or people have heard them singing, and say, by the way, such that they are on the docket to sing at an event. So the second time we hear them sing, it's singing in public to a large audience, and the whole family sings together. And it's beautiful. And it's interesting because there are different groups of people there, and there's some sense that there might be animosity, is my recollection. And amongst other senses, and like in the room, in the story. and the situation. And so a song about homeland is sung about, like if there were a loon song for Minnesota. I mean, there are other songs. When I hear Purple Rain, I feel like that's pretty close somehow. And there are others, but here from North Minneapolis, where we started a revolution in the home of one, it's the mystery font. '42, Ope Intuit. And I'm clearly having an episode. I'm seeing, are they backwards? Are they forwards? I'm seeing, it's like I'm having like a visual kind of because I'm having an episode, and that's the graphic that I chose for the episode. And the time clock, yes, we found our way there, didn't we? Was his boy. William. Bill. Good gracious. Bill Barr, right? At any rate, Ope Intuit, and Ope indeed. Today, I was barred in Minneapolis. That is, I am a bard at times. And I sing and share music, if only to myself and possibly other people, but sometimes more gregariously. And and it has to do with my particular work in performance and theater, and normalizing, perturbing the stricture of an increasingly fascistic society, to be able to play and to keep joy and creativity alive, and shaking us out of the binary of, is this behavior, is this misbehavior, is this behavior bad or good, as opposed to like, what's happening here, and curiosity. And lately, I've added signs that I carry, and in addition to fist bumps and, hey, I agree, oh my God, yes, way to go, keep going. In addition to those, I also get some harsh looks, or people kind of shocked, and maybe they're not reacting negatively to the concepts that I'm bringing up in terms of, we may feel similarly about the things, but they may just simply be reacting to, oof, this is a difficult subject, and I agree. And I sympathize, I empathize. And if you see something, say something. And recently, the whole thing of Donald Trump claiming that he will not be criticized, that that's legal, is just incredibly reckless and so dangerous. And as if one committing it were just stupefied. And half aware of what they were doing. But thought-terminating cliches are all over with the "that's gentleman," if the man is gentle, if gentle the man be, and this is what people see on the back. And this is what people see on the, which way? Let's bring it to the middle. Like that. There we go. See, there's a way to do it. I think, there we go. Just want to get it as perfect as possible. It is essentially, you know, I mean, really there are various things that can slide in here. That's kind of the idea. So we have, I guess we have a top 4 list, essentially. We have, oh, we have 5. That's right. Oh, right. Well, hey, that is, I guess the first 5. That's good. And each of them has seen the city. And why don't we go in order? I've been working on that passive playing thing where I just let it ring. Just kidding. Okay. Just kidding, just kidding. All right. We know what Darvo is, right, Scoop Troop? For those who are new, Scoop Troop, you're all Scoop Troop. And basically where we're at is just this. In part because that is our right. That is our right. This is one of them, to use a reproach as part of free speech. And to do that of our leader, that is super, 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 super basic. That's like neighborhood basic, everybody understands, you don't run out into the street basic. That is the essence of common sense, that we are able to criticize and reproach within free speech is basic, as in it is based, and as in its substrate. Reproach is part of free speech. We can't have free speech if we can't reproach and can't, you know, find ways to foster that, which also means being ready to hear it. And you don't necessarily have to make love to the experience of listening to somebody tell it. Like, it doesn't have to be your whole life, but just to let someone, you know, or to walk away and run away, I suppose, is what some people do. Maybe they put in headphones. But the point is, to criticize and to use reproach is important. And the buckling that happens so often, there's a buckling that happens where it's like the statement, this way, gotta get it. I want to center it, because for the folks, I just have to make the transition at some point, but for the folks who might be watching a vertical feed on Instagram, I kind of find it interesting to try to do this. There we go. So, this is just freaking me out. There we go. Okay. Yay. It's vaudeville over here, where I criticize Donald Trump in a vaudeville world that is a former dentist's office. Somehow that's how this conglomeration of chambers and portals came to be. And you can see one of them, one of the portals right there. That is, it was a medicine window. And there are 3 of them. And it's not tiny, but it's not big. So it's odd there were multiple addresses. It's like a schoolhouse. That kind of tiny size in this reflecting pool here, whereas you can see the walls are made of an American flag that has decided to become beams and shafts of light, or bars, or stripes. And so it is a reflecting pool. It's the imagination of democracy. And it happens, I found out that when I got here, there is this nexus. And it makes it slightly easier to remember why. Because I can hear little parts. They actually just come in through this place. I can hear little parts of the truth that I didn't know. It's normally happening when I'm maybe reading a book or listening to an audiobook or watching something that provokes the thought, but it happens more here. And I don't think it's just because it looks like the flag. I think that it actually, well, it's the mystery font. And this first batch of 5 reasons for which I criticize Donald Trump. Because it's good to solidify one thing at a time, for sure. And hello, friend. Live long and prosper. I think that's a good one. And it worked during COVID because it was like a vaccinated kind of thing, but it also was like live long and prosper, and you could do it from a ways away and people knew you were being friendly, hopefully. But the first day, it was, oh, they're not in order. Here we go. So the first day it was this, for sexually assaulting children. I criticized Donald Trump for, I'll do it that way so it can be read. That's backwards. I criticized Donald Trump for sexually assaulting children. And I walked it around. And it went well. Really, with each of these days, it's a lot of people being fairly supportive, and some interesting conversations, and some that are a little intense, and where I admittedly have raised my voice, whether it's to say, to dispel a falsehood, or to allege, in the case of 1 or 2 people, that they are not seeing very well, and that they're maybe choosing to not see. You know, in the bandwidth of, if you are someone who is choosing to enjoy that the sidewalk is clean and not see how it's odd that there were people who were there earlier and they're not, and I don't need to, I choose to not see you. Well, I need to ask a question about that. That's fine. I choose to not see a person across a border as human. I choose to not see somebody who Charlie Kirk said got a job because of DEI as needing this or that. I choose to not see this. And I degrade and defile and make a ledger of lenses of such that when somebody walks into a room, they're able to like fulfill the tasks and the functions of the prototypical soldier. I don't know what kind of worker necessarily so much, but the what are we doing, essentially, of it. Okay. Moving on with of the week. I feel a little bit like I'm in a brace, but I'm fine. I'm just holding this to the wall with my sheer force of will, just with my back. So the second day, okay, I'm going to make this a little more easy to follow. Day 1, I criticized Donald Trump for sexually assaulting children. Day 2, I criticized Donald Trump for, racism and ethnic cleansing. That was day 2. Day 3 was for celebration. Oh, no. That's for violence to enslave women. These are bad things. I'm criticizing him for that. And then yesterday I criticized Donald Trump for crashing satellites that track climate change. Sabotage. And today, I criticized Donald Trump for celebration of murder. The massacre at Wounded Knee. And today, yesterday and today, I admittedly did call a few people Nazi. And I'm not necessarily sorry. I'm not sorry that I did. I'm not sorry that I did. I'm not sorry that I did at all. I think if you see something, say something. And when it becomes apparent that there is malice and joy at people's suffering, not as a, well, it's not about punishment. This is hygiene. We don't allow people to be a danger to themselves and others. And that's the case even if they have billions of dollars or a big mob. Like a lynch mob of one, somebody running around with a knife saying, "I'm going to get these people," is not acceptable. Like 2 or 3 people doesn't make it more so. 300 doesn't make it more so. 1 million doesn't make it more so. Just like somebody with hundreds of billions of dollars, doesn't just get to tell us they're going to do whatever they fucking want and tank resources and sabotage people's lives and kill people because they have stuff. And with this, I'm not really seeing much in the way of people actually like joyously celebrating the assassination of Charlie Kirk. I think that he was quite an awful person, and beneath the veil of propriety and some doughy shucksness, it's not just a tone and like a slightly incel ideology. What he's picking at and some of the things that he always had to say and that are central, he was lynch mobbing. He was trying to take apart the work of Dr. King. He was trying to take apart the work of Mr. Rogers. He was trying to take apart the work of millions of people and families that have built bonds and transcended or grown, whether or not the world around us is growing. And it keeps happening that there's a lot of gaslight from white people about how other people are violent and other people are this and other people are that, but when anybody else has boundaries, eventually it seems like, or when, now after 50 years of planning Mobs for Liberty and the Heritage Foundation are ready to launch the lynch mob, they don't really have to talk about political correctness anymore or anything because they're unmasking. Because everything that we have been, people of conscience, people of political conscience who are kind of trying to say, please, Bill Marsh, we're trying to talk about it. Not vibe and have a little sensational session about like, oh, this is controversial, and oh, well, I'm gonna say some harsh shit, but because I can, because free speech, like, okay. At the scene of that accident, like, the point is what you're looking for bends what you see. And if you're looking for ways to just beat people back into submission of this is the way things are, I think Bill Maher has done a lot of damage. But the point being, it's all been a lie. And at any point saying, like, the idea of political correctness or somebody saying, hey, wait, please don't call my friend that name, that's really offensive. Well, you're trying to control me. The idea that trying to, like, engage in finding common ground or saying, hey, can you not step on my toes like that? And not being able to, like, level with each other in that way, and, you know, that's just kind of a wrestling match. And if we, like, have that wrestling match outside of the conversation we would want to have about political conscience or just, like, how we actually feel about stuff, even if we really disagree or there's, you know, bigotry or unpacked feelings or blah, 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 blah. Like, if stuff is coming out into the world, like, opinion kind of doesn't matter if somebody's opinion is that they're into dropping massive panes of glass from the top of a building when people are walking below. And they're just like, hey, my opinion is that the sky falls and people don't believe me. I'm like, it does. I keep looking up, I'm like, it doesn't, I'm sure it's gonna happen, but I'm like, I believe it does, so, like, I'm just working consistent with my belief that the sky is falling, and if it doesn't hit anybody, it's okay. But it's okay if it does, because the sky is falling, and I just, like, you know, some sky has to fall if the sky is going to be falling, and if, you know, you can say that that's just your opinion, but to hear people say, you know, like, it's not politics to say you're not a Nazi, as Dan Harmon said. It's not politics to say you're not a Nazi. It's like taking a shit. You do it or you explode. It's not you're containing a cancer. It's not going to be that wild a ride. It's going to be awful, but if it has your lungs, it will convince your lungs in some sense that it's the party and stay and take more of you and take more of you. But it does that to the brain too. The allegory of cancer, not of the brain, but of the mind. That's like Ku Klux Klan answer that comes in with white supremacist patriarchal terror, grand dragon, scary fucking nightmare. The incredible addiction to punishment and crime and fear of scarcity and how that scarcity is fomented. And for some, apparently, the deliciousness of murder and wanting to eat people or defile people, as someone like Donald Trump loves to do, or Stephen Miller, or Tom Homan. Like, it's about defiling people. It's about defiling people. Unfortunately. And that's not a thing about I like them or don't like them. It's a behavior. It's a pathology. They act that way. Being found to have accepted a $50,000 bribe from the financial challenges to prison to slavery pipeline that is being created by Geo Group and Tom Homan and people who are also involved in government and making money from rounding innocent people up and destroying lives and making torture porn. That now, after not really seeing a whole lot that really seems like celebration or trying to be evil at, like, to my knowledge, people are staying away from his family, as people should. Like, in terms of, I know, my point is that Charlie Kirk menaced George Floyd's daughter for years, I believe, and would watch the horrific murder by Derek Chauvin of George Floyd and laugh at it and make jokes on his videos. And mentioning things like, to people who had asked about Charlie Kirk in the last couple of days, well, how do you feel about, so you don't like him, huh? Like, well, I think he was a Nazi, and he didn't want people to necessarily know that quite when he wasn't ready for them to know it. But did you know that he said this? Did you know that he said disparaging things about the intellect of this group of people? Or that he said the Civil Rights Act was a mistake, or that rape wasn't real? Who says rape isn't real but a rapist? Or someone who enables them? Not to say villain, evil, stamp them. I'm saying in terms of shapes and behaviors, if that's a behavior that we actually don't want to foster. And that brings up Scoop Troop, something called, this is intersectional, called projection, because the things that they are saying, they're being attacked by, that are all over the place, that people need to be aware of, and that someone like myself, I would consider myself on the left, that people who are critical of them, or people who they tar with brushes like woke, which is, as far as I can see, basically humanity, being humane and aware and a decent person. And the same thing with the brush that's given to diversity, equity, and inclusion, and taken from it being about a certain subset of, like, here are measures we're doing to repair damage around these areas, and that it's slurrized in terms of saying, just calling stuff DEI higher or DEI this. But it's definitely been a way that Stephen Miller uses, and Stephen and Kirk used to say the N-word and to disparage and degrade and defile people in broad daylight and normalize it. And let's see if I can remember the projection that was bumping out to me. But point being, projections, Scoop Troop, projections. Like, for instance, saying that, maybe that's what it was, saying on the golden escalator moment, he said, they're sending us rapists. And that's a shocking boundary violation and a projection, both. It is both a statement that crosses so many boundaries that it is just a shocking boundary violation. Like grabbing someone by the crotch or saying you can do so. That's a shocking boundary violation to allege. Or to say in company that you feel you can, I'm going to push this edge here in the locker room. I'm going to say, oh yeah, I do that all the time. Oh, because I'm a star. And if people don't like it, like maybe I lean into it. I'm just meaner because I like it. Those are shocking boundary violations meant to fuck up people's nervous system and like take us so far off of our heel that we're actually like sitting down or on the floor going, what? They're meant to fuck us up, at least intellectually. And so, to some extent, because the truth of what it might reveal, if somebody isn't joking or something, like Mr. Hitler, was this invasion of the Sudetenland? You're kidding, right? This wasn't good. Oh, sure, this wasn't good. Okay, gosh, yeah, I'm so sorry. Yes, sure, thank you. Great, this was a lovely meeting, by the way. Okay, so we're on the same page, Mr. Hitler? Oh, we're on the same page. We're on the same, oh, yes. Are we? Don't let the door hit you. And appeasement of violent men who won't leave is essentially an invitation. No shame. I'm just saying we're dealing with shocking boundary violations that numb and shut down our ability to recognize what's happening. And the problem is that they're, again, it's not that I don't like them, although I think I maybe don't like them because of their behavior, but it's about pathology and behavior. So when I say something extreme like that they mean to kill millions of people, it's not because I really don't like their team. I'm just telling you what I'm reading when I look at them talk. And I think it's probably time to pull it up. I think it's probably time, this would be a good episode in which to interlude a previous moment. I think I have it on YouTube. Of a video that I made in 2017. It might even be 2016, but I think it was 2017. Yes, I will play it from another device. I will arrange it nice. But until we get there, well, first off, yay! Okay, so I should do the thing where I jump up and down like Elon Musk or whatever to say, those were the 5 first daily. I didn't know that I was going to do them all as I did them, but I just started, and that's 5 criticisms. Okay, I'm going to go through them quickly again, just to round that out. This has been a stunning segment. It just snaps. It's tight. This segment is tight. Where am I? Yes, let's get them in order. So, again, I'm walking about and singing. In this case, always the same song most of the time. Always the same song most of the time. The last couple days, it's been just one song. But that. So, for this first series of days, I criticized Donald Trump for sexually assaulting children, for racism and ethnic cleansing, for racism and ethnic cleansing, for violence to enslave women, for crashing satellites that track climate change, aka sabotage. And I would say that it is wartime sabotage. We're experiencing undeclared asymmetrical warfare. And we can get rid of shocking boundary violations. And for the celebration of murder. And that's a good transition to just like make it clear. I guess I was kind of already doing that before. But Pete Hegseth has basically this week said, you guys, he went after people in the military who criticized or who were critical of Charlie Kirk, saying people were making fun and mocking and celebrating his death. And so was going after people, as a lot of people, I guess, on the right, it was happening on Twixter and stuff. But now, yesterday, I believe, or today, he has come in with, that's not a knife. You think that's a knife? That's not a knife. This is a knife. And he has honored and made final, he says, what was in flux about medals that were stripped or potentially permanently going to be stripped from the people who did the massacre at Wounded Knee. And it is essentially the largest mass shooting in American history. And there were at least 19 people who did the shooting, but it was a slaughter of Lakota people in 1890, I believe, December 27th, I believe. And mass grave, women and children and men, really likely over 300 people with people that died after the fact. And he honored those people, saying, we're making it permanently apparent that the cloud over these people's head is gone. What if Tyler, Charlie's alleged shooter, assuming he was shot, what if he were receiving a medal from his local Rotary saying, we appreciate what you've done for our community for the many years, and up till today too, we just really celebrate everything you've done. Or a local marksman groups that he was a part of is like, way to go. Wouldn't people say, wow, that is really intense celebration of somebody who's just done this? Strange timing. And so the deaths of 300 or so people just mercilessly murdered innocent people. First of all, Pete Hegseth calls it the Battle of Wounded Knee. No. It was a massacre. And this is terrorism. And his statements are terrorism. And it is also a call. This is how you say, hey, this is how you do it. This is what we accept. Supposedly going after DEI policies or quote, going after DEI, end quote, was about getting rid of discrimination. Right. You can't say words like belong and equity and change, let alone climate change. You won't get grants for art or education, or things are being destroyed. Knowledge and the shape of society that is leveled at all in good faith is being destroyed. And to celebrate, this is insane. This is insane. To celebrate this, that's an attack. But that is absolutely, that's stochastic terrorism wise, that seems about like license. He might as well ring a bell. That he essentially just awarded these people. After a few days of him included, MAGA piling on and saying, how dare you, you people should die, or you people should lose your jobs, or you people are terrible people because you celebrated the death of Charlie Kirk. And for the few who may have, or weren't careful in their expression of relief to not sound like they were celebrating when it's pretty fucking lit by gas to talk to abuse victims or to talk to people who speak of abuse and say, you know, not like that. So the point is, Pete Hegseth, they're leaning into just unmasking with it more and more. Because this is a massive, shocking boundary violation. This is meant to totally fuck with us. And it is a statement that they will treat indigenous people as less than people, and that, as they have mentioned and motioned, they want to remove citizenship, which is, again, a massive, just to suggest it, is a massive, shocking boundary violation. These are attacks. It would be like showing up at a legislature and saying, well, you know, what's my opinion on the color of paint that we wanted to use for the rotunda? My opinion is that we need to use the color of, like, I just want to check your toilets after your daughters use them. And if there are any stains, I just want to, like, do, like, a take on those stains and, like, do color swatches based on whatever yummy colors I get from the toilets of your daughters. What? What are you saying? Oh, it's just my opinion. What are you saying? Like, we're talking about crazy ass shit. Crazy stuff. Why would someone walk into something totally unrelated and come in with, I'm here to do weird, creepy stuff in your family bathroom? But this is weird, creepy stuff. This is weird, fucking murder, creepy stuff. This is Jeffrey Dahmer bullshit. This is insanity level stuff. This is allegiance. This is as big a fucking, Sieg Heil as he can do. Donald Trump said, stand back and stand by, and he said, we're making it final and permanent, that it can't be changed, that these men are to be celebrated. What? So, political violence is wrong when they do it, says Pete Hegseth. And I need to find the number of the thing. But the illegalization, the terrorism group status of the amorphous and non-existent Antifa, essentially criminalizing anyone who criticizes them, and moving to have another level of that, it seems, which really comes down to just talking about the whole, like, Nazi obsession with going after depravity in society and anti-American and It's that kind of bandwidth, and they're just talking a lot about extremism. While this is the White House that the DOJ has just, controlled by them, has just tanked a report that they commissioned or had, their own report on extremist groups in America. And it said, what? Who knows? It said, far above anybody else, far above the left, most political violence comes from essentially the KKK and that ilk. It's all neo-Nazis and Klan and crazy-ass fucking white boys who are entitled or who haven't learned to like self-regulate and are literally terrified to do so and would have to confront great fears that may or may not include horrific assault and terrible things that some of these families do to their children. Things that they would not admit, but which do include SA and include making kids do that to one another. There's some really nasty stuff in like Klan, KKK, Nazi backgrounds, that there is all kinds of shame and withholding, and also potentially torture, physical torture and SA, to control, and it's incredibly sad. So it's a lot. It's a lot with ideology that ruptures people and makes them internalize it. To say, hey, come on back to the table of human family. It's cool. Like, we're going to be fine. It's a difficult path, if it's real, I would say. But this is insane. This is not okay. This is not okay for the Defense Department, or now he's the SOW, I guess, the Secretary of War. And as they declare war on Portland, and as they so many fronts. I'm tired too. But it is meant to overwhelm. It is meant to overwhelm. That is shocking boundary violations, and it is the use of DARVO. And so to some extent, like, doing something this vile is literally meant to dysregulate us and give us migraines for months so that we can't move. And it is meant to terrify. And just to bring out like the whole thing of like, owning the libs, I think we kind of have to follow it all the way to the meaning of that word. It's not just a slang thing. It's a slang for a reason. I think it rings for a reason that is not on our minds, and it's just straight up, they do want to own people. They do want to own people. They do want to own people. And really the slang or the colloquial meaning of like, oh, I'm owning them with this, oh yeah, I really told them, I really showed them, like, it is putting someone in their place. It is coercively, I'm in charge. They do want to own people. They want to coercively control. And in many cases, murder people or look away, choose to not see. So something has to be done about this. This is terrorism. This is terrorism, just like the Supreme Court's ruling about allowing racial profiling of Latino and Hispanic people. That's just Nazi terror. It's bullshit. It's insane. Saying it's bullshit is like saying it's strawberry shortcake. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't say it enough. It's absolutely deadly terrorism. The othering of people on the second class and third classing and all this, it's happening. And that's kind of the shocking thing, is like there really are such clear different realities going on when people who say that they love Charlie Kirk don't know the really vile stuff that he said. That was kind of, if that's what you bring to slip under the doorway of the kind of edgy conversation you're having, if that's what you keep bringing, and if you're cheering on A Handmaid's Tale and the racist shit that he would say, like, it's not just a joke and an opinion or something. It's the pyramid of harm as a weapon. And so I would call I mean, if people celebrated Charlie's supposed shooter, it would be. I mean, they wouldn't have jobs. The people that they know wouldn't have jobs. There would be some crazy shit. But they're not even alive anymore. What's being served by this? It's a mass shooting. 300 people. Innocent people. What's the point of calling it a battle? I mean, this is ICE. This is the behavior of ICE. Wanton disregard for life, treating people like vermin that you need to extinguish. And then saying, hey, they're just doing their job. That was a good job, boys. These are Nazis. Period. These are Klan. They are Ku Klux Kucks, folks. Not okay. This is not okay. And it's difficult to talk about. And to bring up with people. And when George Floyd was murdered, I went to the protest and I made a sign that had, I liked breaking down. I like working with like little simple structures that seem like they're a foothold or something. And so I don't like a simple common symbol like, well, it seems like it used to be, the OK symbol, or the OK hand gesture, which has been co-opted by white extremists. And so at that time in 2020, I was like, oh, I like the wordplay of saying white supremacy is not okay. And so I made graphics that had an OK symbol and like a line through it as like, it was very clear. But when I was going out to that protest, I just like drew it. And so I had, and there was a line through it that I had like myself doing that and a line through it. But I didn't put the language on that said white supremacy is not okay, which would have made it clearer to like look at, wait, what am I seeing? Because apparently this looked like this to somebody. Maybe it was like the knuckles looked like stretched out arm fingers or whatever. But somebody, a white boy, thought that I was carrying a sign that was crossing out, a raised fist, as in like a symbol of black resistance, and that I was making some kind of racist comment with my sign. And his behavior made me think that he was maybe there doing that like nefariously, because I was like, no, I'm not racist. I'm not, that you misunderstand, and he took the piece of paper that I'd put on this thing that was like the whole sheet on this big black board. And he took the white piece of paper away and ran off with it. And I was like, what? And then he comes back and I'm like, this is fucking sus. And there's some people watching that he was standing by that had this paper, and they're like 20 feet away. And he comes back and says, you can't do that. I'm like, I don't know what you mean. And he just cranked me in the head. And I had a pretty good concussion. I didn't realize it for days that I was concussed. But point being, simplicity of communication is good. Or, looking at it in a mirror before you go, just to say, like, could it be clearer? Like, am I being clever in a way that's inscrutable? I want to be clear. But, like, there are all kinds of things like that can happen when stuff is escalating or elevated or fraught. And so it's interesting running into people who clearly, in the case of me shooting video of myself as I'm walking and singing and somebody stopping to say, hey, can I ask you a question? What's with the sign? And what do you protest? Or what are you part of some party? What, you don't like Donald Trump? Like, well, since you ask on this subject, I'm not a fan of what he's doing with satellites or whatever. And pretty soon they're like, that's not happening, or he didn't do that, or they didn't say that. There are all kinds of denial. There maybe people have heard other things that are reasons why the conversations don't become like, oh my gosh, tell me, where did you hear that? Tell me more about it. Can you pull that up? Can you give me a recommendation of how I find this out? Because the thing is, for somebody saying that he supports someone, I'd mentioned a couple of things that he'd said, mentioned a couple of things to these guys I ran into who wanted to ask me about my signs. And I was like, just clear, I think Charlie Kirk was a Nazi, and he clearly was using a lynch mobbing kind of like normalizing of othering and scapegoating and calling these people unintelligent and those people bad and riffraff, and it was all a bandwidth that was really like 1930s America, even really. Just, you don't talk to me that way, boy. Like that's all it is. It's horror, but that's dumb and simple and stupid. That like it's just a white man who's like, nobody's gonna talk to me like I'm not the king of this here street and castle, and I'm, unless it's John Wayne talking to me, nobody's gonna raise their voice and tell me, now sir, you gotta listen. So that's kind of like, you never had to learn to self-regulate. You never had to learn to not be a terrorist, kind of, to not act narcissistically. Whether or not you're really kind of a narcissist, this society, being predatory to human need and vulnerability, makes us like hand in glove of that. And we're just like, oh yeah, no, the wheel's supposed to turn here. Like, yeah, I gotta, like, no, this is what you do. Like, there we go. No, that's just, this is what we do. This is what we do. Like, and if at some point I'm connected into this wheel in a way that means that if I don't disconnect, it's going to hurt somebody, it's like, this is just what we do. This is what we do. I'm sorry. Then you shouldn't be in here. Then what? It's a system where there's a broom that sweeps through, and you can't be in the room, or you're going to be swept by the broom, and it hurts. Well, you shouldn't have been in the room. Well, we shouldn't be constructing it such that people have to walk through the room when that's happening. Like, we're making this. We're making this because we continue to say it's legal to be predatory to human need and vulnerability, to make it illegal to live, like it's illegal to be alive, and you can pay people off to stay alive, is crime. It's terrorism. And here's the thing. Universal basic income is owed to us. It actually is owed to us because we are human, and because we will remember that we do that for one another. But also, capitalism accidentally spat out the fact that we are full of interesting genius, all of us, that also a machine, a computer, or series of processors can combine, but without it, that it's nothing. Which means we are the material gift, and our completely thefted intellectual property drives trillion-dollar industry. So that is a point around which we say together, universal basic income for Falcon Crest's sake. Now, universal basic income, no one no one is going to be gaslit and tortured to death. We don't see people who are in need and punish them for need. That is crime. That is fucking crime. It is crime. It is just a layer of the looting of the matrix of white supremacist patriarchal terror. That's kind of where we're at. We have to recognize a malicious shape of a death cult. We have to recognize it's not even a question of liking Stephen Miller. I recognize behavior that is deadly, intentionally, with great forethought, massive amounts of forethought. Massive amounts. Let's see here. Ah, yes. So, with The Sound of Music, the point is, we should be sharing it. We should be singing it. We should be listening to it on headphones and singing it together. Because it has a tap all the way back to being with family and people watching it all at once, or all on the same day, the same night, the same week, and showing up at school or the job or whatever, and maybe you're singing it. But you have the experience and you have the nostalgic set of like triggering memories of, positive memories of like, that you're like, that shelf that grandma goes to is, yeah, she moved it, and of course there's that the VHS cassette is there because you're going to watch it like at midnight like you always do after they play it, or because they would make a certain meal and like, or it was just a thing that you'd always watch it every year. But at least people of a certain age, that some folks were around during a time when it was playing at least annually, like on one of the big three networks or something, so that people know. I mean, it's a fairly popular film musical, and it's been done on stage. But point being, it has some prescience or some poignancy because, I don't know if you remember, but guess who has come to town? Guess who's coming to dinner? It's the Nazis. The Nazis are showing up in Austria, and the Von Trapp family is like, whatsies? Whosies? Thesies? I don't know about thesies. Thesies seem really serious, and thesies seem like fucking mean and stuff. I don't know. And Georg's trying to play it cool. He's like, oh, I hear what you're saying. I'm not really interested, but, But he's like trying to just not have anything to do with it. I don't think he was trying to not see it. I think he was aware of a bit of danger. But when the time did come, he did not choose to be a part of that party. And that's without the knowledge that we have, say, in 1950 or 1980 or now. And it was not actually Julie Andrews and Christopher, it'll come to me, the marvelous actor. What I'm saying is the Georg Von Trapp, who is a real person, of course, there is a real story. and Maria von Trapp. There's video of Maria von Trapp singing with Julie Andrews, which is pretty great. But they're real people, and it didn't all exactly happen like as in the movie The Sound of Music, I think, but more or less. And like the song Edelweiss was written for the movie, I believe, or for the musical, as a vehicle, as a device of, they might have chosen a song that could represent that, or maybe they ignored one and made one up instead. But they didn't have Purple Rain, so they wouldn't just use it like if it were here. Christopher Plummer. Edelweiss, Edelweiss, every morning you greet me, small and white, clean and bright. You look happy to meet me, blossom of snow, may you bloom and grow, bloom and grow forever. Edelweiss, Edelweiss, bless my homeland forever. I really should show this because it is an important visual, I think. Someone handed this off, and it fits that it is adorned as it is. Edelweiss, Edelweiss, every morning you greet me, small and white, clean and bright. You look happy to meet me, blossom of snow, may you bloom and grow forever. Edelweiss, Edelweiss, bless my homeland forever. And so may we all, knock, 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 and so may we all be able to say, and so say we all. Self-determination. And it's remarkable to see the adherents of Charlie Kirk putting on a shirt that says freedom when it seems like it should be really clear that it's being stolen, that attacks on, like sub-straight attacks on free speech and components of it like assembly and separation of church and state, that is like prohibition on the establishment of religion, and that it seems that they are just kind of trying to acid drip and remove away habeas corpus, which is, I mean, not the whole reason we came here in terms of people, my ancestors, supposedly, Supposedly we came here to get away from King George or something. Some people who looked like me did. Really? We wanted to not have taxation without representation. We wanted to not, we did not want a monarch. We did not want a king, apparently. We, in the sense of this massive European people who came here. But we definitely, enough of us that it happened this way, decided that people who were literally our saviors were now going to be savages because they'd healed us and showed us how to live here, and fuck, let's just take the place. Screw these weird people who 2 months ago we were laughing with and were our saviors. Let's just call them savages. Let's scalp them and blame them for introducing scalping to us in some weird twisted idea. That white Europeans brought incredible violence and lies and built structures of a caste based on lies. And knocking on that door, it's always, you're not going to talk to, we just think to, it's always been gaslight. Calling political correctness fascism, like you're trying to control us. Never actually having the conversation. We never did. Oh, we talked about it. No, we talked about how we're not. Can we talk about it? Can we please? Well, you can't tell me to. Yeah, we've never talked about it. We've never unpacked it. We haven't unpacked white supremacist patriarchal terror to just deal with it, because people like Charlie Kirk would falsely claim that unpacking white supremacy is harmful to white people, when getting rid of terrorism is good for everybody. And all the bullshit toxicity around white supremacy is very parsable and very different from people who are known as white people. But I have to say, if anybody has acted inferior, it's white supremacists. Period. And it doesn't need to be this violent a last gasp, but it needs to be a last gasp. And I think we need to find a way to help these people to therapy, because screw this violence. Screw the violence that is really just opening up. As bad as it is, they want to hurt a lot of people. And again, if there were 3 people on the street saying that, who maybe weren't visibly rich, we would just get help for them. We might even use that word. We might say, like, we can't enable this. Like, they need help, dude. They're fucking insane. Are you kidding me? He's talking about he's going to push the button. Imagine if that guy were president. What people don't remember about the I could shoot somebody moment of Donald Trump's is that it was about defiling us. It wasn't just about the shooting. It was about, do you know what's crazy? It's the people. It's my people. They say that they love me so much that I could shoot them. It wasn't just him saying, hey, I could shoot somebody and get away with it. I could shoot somebody and not lose any voters. It's not really enough to get the oomph of it. I mean, that's crazy, but it's neutered until you hear him say, imagine saying that to someone and you're looking them in the eye and they hear you say it. For anybody who's been abused in a relationship in some way with a parent or somebody else, anybody, if you've dealt with narcissistic abuse, it doesn't really take a whole lot of material to create a tool with which one manipulates someone who is terrified and submitted or held in some way against their will or without knowing it. And with all the shocking boundary violations, they wash together, and we forget like what it was like before the abusive relationship began. We forget that there was a kind of life that was really different before he said, Mexico is sending us rapists. And we're like, what? Because it wasn't just, I mean, it was horrific, but it wasn't just on any day. It was after he has us over a barrel of like, oh, it looks like he's announcing this could be a convincing run for president. And okay, what's he going to say? Well, so like the world is watching. We're like, okay, who is this hopeful? Well, kind of controversial, but... And he basically pulls an Elon Musk on the wedding dance floor that he, apparently after getting married, whispers into his wife's ear on the dance floor, I wear the pants in this relationship. Just after getting married. That is a fucking sociopath or a psychopath. But that's dark triad pathology. That's fucked. That's really sad. And we need to be able to look that in the face and not be totally shocked by how our boundaries are fucked. To be able to mount some kind of defense or reestablish boundaries. Or if it's a message that somebody sends, like a 922-page document, and they're like, hey, we're coming to get you. Like, what? Like, yeah, that's what it says. No, it actually says stuff about like, well, we're family and love and cool and stuff in America and 14 words about something, I don't know, and anyone and blah, blah, blah. Like, wait, what is this? Oh, we're coming to get you. Wait, what is it? Did you say you're coming to get us? Yeah, no, we're coming to get you this great new thing that we were writing. And we start to realize, like, I'm sure I'm not the only person who thought we're dealing with an iceberg. Like it basically is an iceberg coming. But do you not remember, and I think it's crazy how many people didn't know, but do you not remember that after a bloody insurrection, he said that they did nothing wrong. And then he went and they sang the national anthem. Convicted insurrectionists sang the national anthem, and I don't know if they did it in the room together. That's what it's supposed to sound like. It wasn't like they're like, hey, kick the Pledge of Allegiance, Mr. President, we got you on the ones and twos. Oh, sir. I mean, I think it's just layered because it's not even in timing. He's not like slow rapping the pledge, but he's saying, I pledge allegiance. He's spitting the pledge while there's this, oh, say, can you see? It sounds like 300 or something. It sounds like they're trying to imitate a Ridley Scott movie. It sounds like they're trying to imitate a Ridley Scott movie about the Klan were actually the good guys all along, and Thanksgiving, it was given, not giving. You're giving indigenous, but not to the Uniteds. You know, that like the mask comes off, and it's just a horror show of people engaging in cannibalism. Does it not just go there? if we don't, I mean, there are not that few, sadly, there are not that few pieces of furniture in this country that have human hair in them. And that human hair is from enslaved peoples. There are not that few things that we can ignore, and most of them aren't hidden quite as well as stuffing. But this is terrorism. This is just straight up terrorism. This is terrorism from the Department of War. Imagine that. And the White House from Stephen Miller. And what do? See something and say something, and then what's next? This is one version of what I've been seeing coming, that I've been trying to say, that others have been trying to say. Excuse me, shouldn't we do something about this? It's a ship. Or maybe an iceberg. An ice ship. A burning white ice. A burning white ice tooth ship. I think it probably extends far, far below the surface, like a blade. And when the light hits it, it's white, for sure. I'm not sure what color it is, but it seems to be gleaming white. Is it an iceberg? No, that's not it. I want to call it Burgles, but it's not. I don't think so. I don't know. It looks kind of bad, actually. That doesn't look like a Christmas tree. I think we should read all 922 pages of this ship manifesto, actually. I wonder why they sent it ahead. Why did they send this ahead? Why did we have to read what's coming on this ship? Let's see the manifest. Where's the manifest? No, that says title of the ship. Where's the manifest? Yes, no, that's the title of the ship. What? Yes. No, the title of the ship is what? But that's the manifest. No, that's the title of the ship. No is the title of the ship. Manifest. Destiny is the title of the ship. Manifest Destiny is the title of the ship. It is the SS Manifest Destiny. And who's that at the front? It looks like some renderings of the pernicious and as yet unidentified figure of international mendacity. Their calling card left everywhere. It looks like the immovable object. You know who I mean. It's the immovable object. It's the falsehood. It's the falsehood. Who has donned an age where lying is smart? Who has donned an era where it is simply wise to attack? Who has donned the cowl of the falsehood, such that we do not know their identity? their calling card is left over and over again, and I feel sometimes like waking up from a dream, like I swear I knew who it was for a moment there. But we ask, now when you said this, oh, no, I didn't say that. No, I don't. No, wait a minute. Check the tape. Oh gosh, it looks like me, but I didn't say that. Wait a minute. Do you think? Yes. The falsehood has struck again. And we never seem to get much of a hint, other than moments like this, where we see, is that the falsehood? I know we hear this call all the time, and it's kind of old hat, but if you or anyone in your life has any information that could lead to the identity of the falsehood, former presidents of the United States and the current president of the United States have all called for any information that could lead to the identity of the falsehood. So please, 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 don't forget just to keep your eyes open, because only we can perceive the falsehood. If only we knew who it was. But that does look like the unstoppable object to me. I mean, I just say it out loud, and I think that looks like the falsehood. I think we have some clarity about who might be perhaps their most cunning partner. If not their right hand, then someone they might throw like a bowling ball. I say like. Of course, I'm referring to the immovable cannonball. Did I say that wrong? No, the immovable cannonball and the unstoppable object. Or did I call him the immovable object? Maybe I did. The falsehood, as I think we all understand, has throughout millennia, when the falsehood reappears, is known as the unstoppable object. That's it, the unstoppable object. And it may very well be that the immovable cannonball is M. I have reason to believe that the immovable cannonball is M. I say again, I think the immovable cannonball may be Stephen Miller, better known to most people as M. And remember, Scoop Troop, M uses Darvo. Deny, attack, to reverse victim and offender. So when you ask Stephen Miller why someone who was innocent was sent to CCOT, he will deny that they were sent there, or he will deny that anyone who was sent there has ever been innocent, baselessly. And he will attack you, baselessly, to undermine and to discredit and to distract in order to reverse victim and offender. Deny, attack, reverse victim and offender. Darvo. Darvo. Right, Scoop Troop? Keep it in mind, because when you run into M, or into minions of M or the falsehood, you may be game as prey, unless you are play, unless you are woke enough and calm, therefore, enough to not be game for predator today, but to be not prey, but play. Joy and life. Vivian Joy. It is life-sustaining, and it is potentially life-defending. I wonder if Donald Trump has any idea about the identity of the falsehood. This has come up for some speculation, of course, in different circles, but do any of you think that anyone knows? How far is anyone potentially connected, such that at a distance or with deniability, or now at this point, of course, AI, the falsehood wouldn't have to ever speak to or know anyone? Maybe not anymore, or maybe not ever, because it's the falsehood. But what then? It's not out of the realm of possibility that Donald Trump knows the falsehood. It's not out of the realm of possibility that Donald Trump is friendly or on some kind of reliable, comfortable terms. Isn't it? It is possible. I think we've seen such depraved things, like the worst possible things are lied about. It's not just that someone was caught saying, I don't have any pink underwear, and they do, and who cares, and why did you lie? What? We're talking about, it's not just an opinion about how do we make sure that voting is safe. It's about massive disenfranchisement that threatens lives, and that, if undertaken, is essentially a confession that you mean to sow inequity. We're dealing with someone in M who is viciously lustful for creating incredible torture and suffering. We are the reality distortion fielding as humanity and as the allies. You know that's who we are, right? We're the allies. We are the allies. We can be the second greatest generation. So I'm working on a piece called The Falsehood. There he is, Donnie Darvo. Here's another one of these images. Now, sometimes the falsehood appears during speeches of Donald Trump, just as sometimes the falsehood appears at other times. So some of the ghost images we have may be pulling something that is just a resonance of Donald Trump or of a disguise meant to flummox us and fool us for the moment while he steps in to do the lie. But it is of the sketches and moments where we feel like we actually have captured the falsehood, if in that instance, it does, some of them kind of do look like him a little bit, I have to say. I don't want to like, does Clark Kent ever show up in the same space as Superman but does Clark Kent ever show up in the same space as Superman? It kind of seems like it, other than the flashpoint of these kind of apertures of time where clearly if we can believe, I mean, we can't not believe the president. If the president says that he didn't say that, and all the more so if he can't be criticized, then if he says that he didn't say that, then he didn't say that, I guess, some might say. Some might say. Yes. I think this is a good time to bring up the question of just why to lie at all, and not within sort of the general ambient resonance of how people lie sometimes, and it's not intended to be a big deal, blah, 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 blah. But we're talking about something more insidious and targeted, creating a drama. Like, for instance, imagine if, I mean, a hoax, a scam. Imagine you wanted to get a meal without paying and you brought in something to put into the food and had some kind of screaming thing happening where you have a fit and you get people angry, and then you actually, it becomes clear that, oh God, it was just something that was in the, oh my God. And so they're going to feel really bad once they realize you actually were just in pain and trying to communicate, and you weren't yelling, you were just like saying, oh God, what's this in my mouth? Oh my God. And maybe you spit up a little bit of fake blood or something. And if that takes, you've created a false flag. You've created some kind of truly strange drama that is to be believed as life. You create a big lie. And the strange thing is, we're looking at the creation of a big lie that is demonstrably false. Why? On a massive scale, lie to everyone's faces with the evidence in their hands that you're lying. Why? Lie. We are the reality distortion fielding.
I made a speech. I looked out. The field was, it looked like 1.5 million people. They showed a field where there were practically nobody standing there.
The new White House press secretary, Sean Spicer, gave his first press briefing. He was also highly critical of some media organisations of the way he felt they had misrepresented the number of people who'd attended Friday's inauguration ceremony.
No one had numbers because the National Park Service, which controls the National Mall, does not put any out. This was the largest audience to ever witness an inauguration, period, both in person and around the globe.
It's
It
still
does
out
not
there.
excuse, and you did not answer the question.
I did answer
No,
your
you
question.
did not. You did
Yes,
not
I
answer
did.
the question of why the president asked the White House press secretary to come out in front of the podium for the first time and utter a falsehood. Why did he do that? It undermines the credibility of the entire White House press office
No, it
on day
doesn't.
one.
Don't be so overly dramatic about it, Chuck. You're saying it's a falsehood, and Sean Spicer, our press secretary, gave alternative facts to that.
This was the largest ever. This was the largest audience to ever witness an inauguration, period, both in person and around the globe.
In front of that podium to utter a provable falsehood. Look, alternative facts are not facts. They're falsehoods.
This was the largest audience to ever witness an inauguration, period, both in person and around the globe.
The party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command. Beware. The falsehood. The falsehood brought to you by Manifest Destiny. It's cancer. That's right. The Falsehood is brought to you by Manifest Destiny and the play and musical and componentry of a narrative application, also called The Falsehood, is brought to you by Public Displays of Affection.
You
Yes,
have not
it is.
answered the question. You did not answer the
It's what
question.
this presidency is going to be about.
You sent the press secretary out there to utter a falsehood on the smallest, pettiest thing.
I don't think
And
anybody
I
can
don't
prove that. Look, I
understand
actually
why
don't
you
think
did
that.
it.
Maybe this is me as a pollster, Chuck, and you know data well. I don't think you can prove those numbers one way or the other. There's no way to really quantify crowds. We all know that. You can laugh at me all you want, but I'm
not
very
laughing.
glad.
I'm
Look,
just
Chuck,
befuddled.
well, but you are, and I think it's actually symbolic of the way we're treated by the press. The way that you just laughed at me is actually symbolic of the way, very representative of the way we're treated by the press. I'll just take
Say it along with me, everybody. Darvo. Deny, attack, reverse, victim, and offender.
On the smallest, pettiest thing.
I don't think
And
anybody
I
can
don't
prove that. Look, I
understand
actually
why
don't
you
think
did
that.
it.
Maybe this is me as a pollster, Chuck, and you know
Aye.
data well. I don't think you can prove those numbers one way or the other. There's no way to really quantify crowds. We all know that. You can laugh at me all you want, but I'm
not
very
laughing.
glad.
I'm
Look,
just
Chuck,
befuddled.
well, but
Victim
you are, and I think
and
it's
offender.
actually symbolic of the way we're treated by the press. The way that you just laughed at me is actually symbolic of the way, very representative of the way we're treated by the press. I'll just.
And scene. Once again.
On the smallest, pettiest.
Whoop.
I think.
Here we go. Where is it? Here we go.
You
Yes,
have not
it is.
answered the question. You did not answer the
It's what
question.
this presidency is going to be about.
You sent the press secretary out there to utter a falsehood on the smallest, pettiest thing.
I don't think
And
anybody
I
can
don't
prove that. Look, I
understand
actually
why
don't
you
think
did
that.
it.
Maybe this is me as a pollster, Chuck, and you know data well. I don't think you can prove those numbers one way or the other. There's no way to really quantify crowds. We all know that. You can.
There's no way to really quantify crowds. We all know that. She's trying to mint new thought-terminating cliches. Darvo, Scoop Troop. Darvo. Deny, attack, reverse victim and offender.
You
Yes,
have not
it is.
answered the question. You did not answer the
It's what
question.
this presidency is going to be about.
You sent the press secretary out there to utter a falsehood on the smallest, pettiest thing.
I don't think
And
anybody
I
can
don't
prove that. Look, I
understand
actually
why
don't
you
think
did
that.
it.
Maybe this is me as a pollster, Chuck, and you know data well. I don't think you can prove those numbers one way or the other. There's no way to really quantify crowds. We all know that. You can laugh
no
at
way
me
to
all you
quantify
want, but
crowds.
I'm
not
very
laughing.
glad.
I'm
Look,
just
Chuck,
befuddled.
well,
Undermine,
but you are, and I think
attack.
it's actually symbolic of the way we're treated by the press. The way that you just laughed at me
Reverse.
is actually symbolic of the way,
Victim.
very representative of the way we're treated by the press. I'll just
And
ignore it.
offender.
I'm bigger than that.
All the way to she's a martyr. That's really wonderful, is that you are attacking someone and thus you're able to say, you attacked me and I can't believe that you attacked me. We're looking at Rittenhousing, and I think that's the other thing I wanted to mention tonight, is we're watching Rittenhousing. That is what is happening with ICE and Stephen Miller, that with Chicago and Portland and DC and obviously Los Angeles, ICE is Rittenhousing people. They are coming to peaceful communities. They're coming to schools, to people's places of work, to places where people are coming together to play or have recreation. And they are coming in with their own hoax idea about, I'm coming in with, a distortion about reality, better to say, like Kyle Rittenhouse, that there's a peaceful protest that is a protest against a violent shooting in Kenosha. And Kyle Rittenhouse comes from, Iowa? Crosses state lines, his parents bring him a gun, and now he's a lynch mob. Now he's saying, well, I'm here or else. I'm the good guy with the gun or else. Like, we're not hiring for that position. It's not a position. We're not hiring. No. But he forces himself into situations pointing a gun at people such that they obviously feel the need to do something, whether it's run or try to move the gun away from them or whatever. But he's menacing people and eventually shooting people. He was menacing other people. Maybe he has a whole lot of fear in his mind. Maybe people of color are scary to him, and so he's really having triggers and stuff. That's his own problem to deal with. It's unfortunate that he is riddled with Ku Klux Klan answer, but in real time, it's just important that you get out of the street with your fucking weapon, Kyle. And instead, a Ku Klux Klan judge, after those murders, says, "Oh no, what a nice young man. Oh, he didn't do it. That was self-defense." That's insane. That's absolutely insane. But that is the same model being used by ICE. That there's just a story that they can drink as their own Kool-Aid too, of, you're doing a good thing here. But Los Angeles is not experiencing massive violent protests. They're experiencing massive violent incursions by ICE and responding, but violence is being created by Rittenhousing en masse, being militarized Gestapo forces, harming people, capturing people. I think racism is fraud because, and that we can hold it to account actually, even financially, because all this superstitious mental illness about the superiority or this and that, or these people aren't, blah, 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 blah. It's fraud. There's no evidence. The only evidence of inferiority that I see in humanity would be white supremacy and people who adhere to that. That does make people really dumb. But typically, it's just catastrophic to be mired with people who want violence and are projecting otherwise. The amount of posts talking about how the left wants violence or wants to kill people is really insane. And it is a projection like that of Nancy Mace trying to scapegoat trans people. Like, we're going to go after an innocent group. In some way, it's easier to scapegoat because you're just kind of, it's like you're saying, oh, it's on the other side of the mountain over there, and just consider all those hundreds of homes. They're all this way. When there's not something there that you can picture, it's easier to say, consider this boogeyman. And we are seeing ever heightened escalation. The human mind wants to think that, like, we arrive somewhere and we're cool for a bit, we're okay. But Trump's brand, whether or not we're apprehending it, is definitely about escalation and transcendence that is less pure or clinical. It is trumping. It is conquest. He wants conquest. He wants to break and be in charge, and even if he does the worst things in the world, not to have anybody talk to him, like, put him in his place. He asked the Supreme Court for immunity and they gave it to him. I think we have a compromised Supreme Court in terms of we're dealing with the Confederacy. We're dealing with the Confederacy. And we don't have to talk necessarily about all the single tiny details about how that's happening so much for maybe a lot of people as to illustrate somehow the shape at a, like, step back and look from, or like 10,000 feet view of the thing, because it is rather massive. It is rather a huge shape in terms of a lot of planning and a lot of collusion to, as Moms for Liberty and the Heritage Foundation just kind of lurk these spiky, razor-sharp, paper-cut towers of legislation, to have parked that in our reality such that we're just one or two little clicks on a clock away from Kevin Roberts' bloody revolution being here. And well, you just don't fight back, is what it says. This revolution will be bloodless if the left allows it. That is insane. We are the reality distortion fielding, and we can perceive the falsehood. We have capacity to do anything. So we should choose something other than this. We should choose something other than barely surviving the horrific addiction to punishment that we don't seem to be able to, like, apprehend as real and leavable. We can absolutely quit that shit. We are the reality distortion fielding. We are the reality distortion fielding. We are the reality distortion fielding. The falsehood will demonize your sensitivity. The falsehood will claim the press is our enemy. To cry fake news, yet preempt remedy. It displays false identity. We are the reality distortion fielding. We are the reality distortion fielding. The fielding is real and the real is reeling. We are the reality distortion fielding. We are the reality distortion fielding. The falsehood will tell you intuition's faulty. The falsehood will tell you facts aren't factual actually. We are the reality distortion fielding. We are the reality distortion fielding. We are the reality distortion fielding. The falsehood will groom you not to question, just believe. Falsehood can rob you of the choice you would receive. We are the reality distortion fielding. We are the reality distortion fielding. The falsehood will so tell you it's the one and only. The falsehood will tell you it's the one and only. We are the reality distortion fielding. We are the reality distortion fielding. The falsehood will sow doubt, intuition knows things. We are the reality distortion fielding. Right? Right, Scoop Troop? I think we should consider confidence. One of my own ilk. You see, it's a comfort because at least you understand what it means that my watch is broken. At least I have the confidence that I'm with another professional, decent person. Have you confidence in me to lend me your watch until tomorrow? The first person called con artist was known for cultivating a sort of, aren't we savvy, both of us? You and I here meeting on the street, and what a worldly metropolitan New Yorker you are, sir. Goodness gracious, and I love the cut of your tie. You know, a great conversation we're having. We should meet again, maybe for tea or something, maybe next week. You know, I have an important business meeting, so I should get going. Got to get up early tomorrow for that meeting. In fact, what time is it? Oh, my watch is stopped. It seems broken. And he would say, would you have the confidence in me to lend me your watch until tomorrow? And the first thing to say here is need is good. Need is good. Need is right. Need works. Need is sacred. And when someone does take advantage of that fact, it doesn't take it away, the fact, and it doesn't mean that we should stop supplying for need when people demonstrate or say that they have need. Need is sacred. Need is good. And if there's a cost of doing business, shouldn't it be that we give people a little bit that they maybe, we don't think that they necessarily worked as hard for that if there's slippage somewhere, as opposed to going with the Charlie Kirk model of maybe some people just need to die by gun violence in order to have the Second Amendment? Is that, if we're going to have slippage, shouldn't it be that we're too kind rather than too deadly? Broken. At least I have the confidence that I'm with another professional, decent person. A leader who is also in bad faith is very much the same party, because it rather tracks a timepiece, especially in this era, late 1800s. A watch really is a lot of one's toolkit in terms of understanding reality. There are newspapers, and there's maybe an appointment book. But what holds it all together is when and how and what time is it. So to hand off the watch is a lot. But in terms of a leader, to hand off the watch, or to say, would you lend the watch to me until it's time for me to pass it on to someone else, to hand it back to you, the people, a leader does ask, will you have the confidence in me to lend me the watch? The watch, like, I'll be watching overnight to make sure you're all safe, or I'll be the person that the people on the wall call to tell me what's happening, such that I'll get on the line and say, does this look like a storm, or do you think that that's actually some kind of chemical issue here? What are we thinking, kids? What do we got, boys, girls? That he's going to come together and make a call and know how to tell us what it is. But he didn't mean to cause a panic when he heard about COVID. He didn't mean to cause a panic about a good many things that he wanted to be able to use. And when he said, he would take the watch and give it back, does it look like we're seeing that? He said he would keep us in suspense about whether he would follow the rules. He'll tell us at the time. And then he fomented insurrection. He didn't mind that his people had guns at the Capitol, he said. He didn't do anything wrong. And he did a collage of him saying the Pledge of Allegiance over guttural, bad horror movie national anthem by insurrectionists. It really, the point of that one is that's really a statement of allegiance. Like Pete Hegseth deciding to say, we're going to honor the worst mass shooting ever by honoring the people who did it. It's horrific. What we have to recognize is we're dealing with bad faith actors who, when they ask for something, are asking from a point of view that does not consider everyone as human, or is very near to that and promptable. That I'm with another professional, decent person. That to ask for the watch from society means we trust you, and that once you get in, you don't tell us, I wear the pants in the family, in some strange way. To celebrate murder, I think the fetishistic sort of quality of calling the DoD the Department of War is what we're seeing is defacing and defiling. It's defacing respect, it's defacing people, it's defacing traditions that have built trust as opposed to more rancid traditions. It is truly defacement to treat Wounded Knee as they have treated Wounded Knee in the last couple of days, with this celebration of those murderers. That is horrific. They continue to do these things, these shocking boundary violations. It's good, though, to have that architecture in mind so as not to be totally broken by it in ways we don't need to be. And likewise, remembering that they're bad faith actors, so we don't need to get into this strange Cenk and Anna Kasparian kind of thing of like, whoa, why don't they, God, why, I mean, oh, well, like, as if you forgot. This is who he is. You're flummoxed every time you go outside that you get wet. I'm like, it's been raining for years. It's a storm. It gets wet, it's loud, there are crashes, sometimes lightning, and you know how every time that happens, all of those have been a storm, kiddo. We need to remember what I'm saying is like the storm is bad faith. That there's never a time, and again, this is not about liking or not liking. There's never been a time when Donald Trump is acting on behalf of us. We're in danger. And the thing is, we do deserve to live. And we can press for that by grasping ownership of what was taken in our intellectual property that is used by AI to foster billion-dollar industries, in fact, trillion-dollar industries. And it is mass theft. And it is reason for basic income for everyone who needs it. Because the product of humanity is so amazing that we want it, and we're willing to pay for cities of artists just to live. But there are so many people that hate artists or the idea of being creative or whatever that we just would like to pay for those artists to live in a beautiful air-conditioned space and all that, so long as they're not human. So seeing as how we do actually want to do these things, like write a letter to someone we love, we do want to do things we should be doing. It's a gift. It's here right now. Actual life on Earth. We've discovered it. And what do we do now that we've found life on Earth? Do we exploit it? Do we sick the feet of separation upon sensitive families? Upon any family? Do we sick the feet of separation? What do we do now that we have discovered life on Earth? Six the feet of separation. 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. 6 the feet of Kevin Bacon. 6 the feet of separation. He didn't mean to cause a panic. He didn't mean to cause a panic. Prepared people can plan and plan quick. He didn't mean to cause a panic. He meant to draw iceberg Titanic. He didn't mean to cause a panic, yet 6 the feet of separation. 6 the feet of separation. 6 the feet of separation. The Nazis lost in World War II as Allied radar read their crew. tall builder said, I know what to do. I can use you. Just let it through. He didn't mean to cause a panic. He didn't mean to cause a panic yet. 6 feet of separation. 6 feet of separation. 6 feet of separation. To guard a tree and leave a stump. I don't perceive a guardian. Oh, it's Burgles. You guard a tree and leave a stump. I don't perceive a guardian. You guard a tree and leave a stump. I don't perceive a guardian. You guard a tree and leave a stump. That's not what I call guardian. You embody actual trump. You're a real card, your father's son. You're a real card, your father's suit. You're a real card, your father's loot. It's not the thing you swear upon. It's what your heart was. It's what your heart wants. It's what your heart will not abandon. It's what your heart won't abandon. It's what your heart won't abandon. It's how your word becomes action. It's that your word's an honest one. How long must you menace us? You do doubt the new Colossus. You're a real card. You're a real card. You're a real card. 6 feet of separation. 6 feet of separation. 6 feet of separation. Say anything. If you see something, say anything. And something's good. Something is a good anything. Something is a good anything. Keep that in mind, Scoop Troop. I know I shall. Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room. This is the imagination of democracy at the Mystery Font. It's rather in a state as I'm assembling and clearing space of the items. rather taking it over, to clear it again for the performance of the falsehood in a small micro theater experience. And 6 feet of separation, which I just did a version of, and the theme I played previously, the theme from the falsehood, the reality distortion fielding. Those are part of that song cycle. What will you do that for you makes sure there's something safe or safer that wasn't there today? What's something that you can do, even just the tiniest thing, just to normalize something good? How can you foster the growth of healthy, safe gardens, real and metaphorical? We are the reality distortion fielding. We can do anything. In fact, I'm going to take a pause, and I'll be back with thoughts about what we can do, like just generally speaking, our capabilities, that we can do anything.
The falsehood will tell you intuition's faulty. The falsehood will tell you facts aren't factual actually. The falsehood will tell you intuition's faulty. The falsehood will tell you facts aren't factual actually. The falsehood will tell you intuition's faulty. The falsehood will tell you facts aren't factual actually. The falsehood will tell you intuition's faulty. The falsehood will tell you facts aren't factual actually. The falsehood will tell you intuition's faulty.
You see, it's radio science brain. Every brain to all brains, imagination bangs. This mindness may be game today if baby, if you lack curiosity today, you may be gay. to play. You may be game, you may be game. You may also be game as prey. You may be predator today. You may be prey, I play. You nay, you not be prey, or predator be play. The mind has made me this way, and I made it stay. Kindness came to stay, remain. Radio science brain liaised arrange the motivation to believe that love is sane. Like we won't lose love's campaign, make it stay. Imagination aims from a field, love exclaims, love's campaign in your name. You hear the codec, the prospect dial direct, imagination jaywalk or fly straight. You are baby, 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 bathed in aim, be bathed in aim. Radio science brain, amazing ace. Imagination ace, mindness may be game, mind may play but not race, may play, brace up, make plain, love is sane, imagination aims. We can do anything, I've sought it, I found it. When I realized I needed to look into this, into it, into me, into mindness, as much as anywhere. Each of us has mystery. Each of us has the font of tremendum and actuate. If it is ever to be, it's actuate and it's all free. Be named the sane radio science brain. Be nature great ape. We're great apes. We're great, but not like Nero or Peter. We're great like the greatest generation made shape. You are the brain awake ape, that shape, imagination ace. From a field love exclaims, your face, mine may be game today. Be not pleasured over prey. Be not predator, mind may be game to play today. If you are game to play, yes, it is stressed, it is messed, but it's best. Just trust, just mess is best, mess is best. Imagination aim, build such nests. Let's blessed mind gray array, maybe need not a crest, but it lives there now, whether or not we're obsessed with what's best, except all of us, you, me, the rest. It's superior to live as one. It's superior to be human. It's superior to be ubiety that also remembers ubiquity. We're connected through space, through morphic resonant raid, mind blaze, human race, emancipatriate, mind and place, time and space, kind and grace, guile and brain mace, remain kind, blamelessness. Oh, gray Aurelia's awake now. Today, we just woke up this way. We woke up exactly this way.